My name is Jason Hale. I'm the sole heir to the Vista Corporation. To be honest, I'm exhausted. I don't want to be tied down by the family legacy anymore. I just want to be an ordinary office worker, content with the simple life, embracing that lying flat existence day by day. But the trouble is, there's this top-tier colleague at the company who clings to me relentlessly every single day, insisting on hitching a ride in my beat-up old Volkswagen every time we head home after work. To shake her off for good, I decisively switched to an old men's bicycle. This bike, aside from the bell that doesn't ring, creaks and rattles from head to toe everywhere else. Once word of this got around, the whole company started mocking me behind my back, calling me dirt poor. That colleague of mine was even worse. She straight up humiliated me in front of everyone. But I didn't give it a second thought, because it was thanks to pedaling this rusty old bike that I met the light of my life. Until one day, the core leadership from the corporation suddenly showed up for an inspection. Not a single person in the company wasn't bowing and scraping in deference. But ironically, that stunning female CEO with her radiant presence, famous for being that icy snow lotus. After getting a clear look at my face, her complexion turned ashen in an instant. My name is Jason Hale. I'm 26 this year, and no one knows that. I'm actually the sole heir to the trillion-dollar Vista Corporation. In plain terms, I'm the legendary prince, born with a silver spoon in his mouth that people always talk about. Right now, my public identity is just a lowly employee at Vista Corporation, in a subsidiary that hardly anyone notices. Launch Technologies, working as a product specialist with a salary of 80 yuan. My father, who is also the chairman of Vista Corporation, Henry Hale, keeps nagging me about not appreciating my good fortune. Why not just enjoy being the prince when everything's fine? Instead, I insist on diving into the grassroots to experience the hardships of ordinary life. But he has no idea. I'm truly worn out. Ever since graduating from Oxford and coming back, he's shoved me into all sorts of key positions in the corporation. For a solid 5 years. Eyes open to billion-yuan project contracts. Eyes closed to the scheming undercurrents in the boardroom battles. The people around me either want to profit off me, or see me as a stepping stone to climb higher. I'm sick of it all. Exhausted too. I just want to fully lie flat, living peaceful days. So I faked an ordinary resume and sought out this most remote and isolated subsidiary, finally getting my wish to live a life of clocking in casually, heading to the gym after work, researching cuisine on weekends, and brewing my own rice wine by hand. It's truly a heavenly existence. To stay humble all the way, I drive the old Volkswagen my mom bought back in college, parked in the lot. Compared to the other cars, it's nothing stand out, which suits me just fine. I thought this lying flat life would stay peaceful forever, until Victoria Wade showed up, shattering that tranquility completely. Victoria is an operations staff in our department. Her looks are decent enough, but her makeup is way too elaborate. I even suspect she gets up early every day, 3 hours ahead just to paint it on. In her first week at the company, she zeroed right in on me. "Hey Jason, where do you live?" She sidled up close to my desk, her voice sickly sweet. "West Side." I half closed my eyes, not bothering to say another word. Honestly, I had zero interest in getting too entangled with colleagues. Oh, what a coincidence. I live on the West Side too. Her eyes lit up like stars. Those eyes with 3 layers of fake lashes batting away. A girl like me, new to Southtown, heading home alone at night is so scary. Let me hitch a ride with you from now on. Okay. We're totally on the same route. I casually opened the map app to check the apartment address she just mentioned. I couldn't help but smirk inwardly. This is what she calls the same route. It's completely opposite directions. My place is at the far end of the west. Exit the highway and turn right to get there. Her apartment is on the western border edging south. I'd have to exit the highway early, then get stuck in rush hour traffic for over 40 minutes, and detour another 20 kilometers to drop her off. I curled my lip, ready to flat out refuse, when she clasped her hands in front, putting on this pitiful woe is me act. Pretty please. Jason, think of it as helping out your little sister here. At worst, I'll treat you to bubble tea. The eyes of the other colleagues in the office started glancing this way, with a mix of teasing and gossip mongering. I really didn't want to ruin the hard-won peace I'd finally achieved, so I gritted out 2 words. In that moment, even without seeing the smug flash in her eyes, I could guess, with my toes, that little minx was probably chuckling to herself inside. I just hope this was a one-time hassle. Looking back now, I was way too naive then. From that day on, hitching rides became Victoria's fixed routine. She went even further. Every day after work, without waiting for me to pack up, she'd already be toting her Chanel bag, swaying gracefully beside my desk, her voice neither loud nor soft, just enough for the whole office to hear. Jason, I'm all done waiting for you. So, amid the oohs and ahs of teasing from colleagues, I could only grab my keys with a grim face and head with her to the parking lot. Jason, your car is a bit old, but it's pretty spacious, huh? As soon as she got in, she commented like she owned the place. I was too lazy to respond, just wanting to dump this great Buddha off quickly, so I could get home soon and enjoy my homemade rice wine. Hey, I mean, a handsome guy like you, with such a great build, why drive such a junker? She still wouldn't let up. Manager Zhang in our department just upgraded to a BMW. My hands tightened on the wheel. This old Volkswagen was the first car Dad gave Mom when she was pregnant with me. To our family, it holds incredibly special meaning. If not for experiencing common life, this car would have been gathering dust in our home collection long. Personal preference, I replied coldly with 3 words. The distance in my tone was crystal clear. Don't be mad. I just think you deserve better things. She started cooing again. Oh, right. Drop me at the intersection up ahead. I froze. That intersection is still 2 or 3 kilometers from her place. You sure? Totally sure. My bestie is waiting there for dinner. Thanks today, Jason. Bye. She unbuckled her seatbelt, swiftly hopped out, and clicked away on her high heels, vanishing into the crowd. Through the rearview mirror, I clearly saw her turn and climb into a black Mercedes. I turned the car around without a flicker of emotion, merging back into the heavy traffic, just to drop her at this convenient dinner spot. And today I had to detour an extra half hour. Back home, I poured myself a glass of my homemade plum wine. The ice clinking against the glass sounded so crisp. I stared at the glass, thinking seriously, maybe it's time to change my mode of transport. I like driving, but I absolutely don't want to be anyone's free chauffeur, especially not for a scheming woman like this one, with her deep plots. I opened my phone. On the city's used goods app, typed in 2 words, bicycle. The last straw happened on a Friday. That day, the company announced sudden overtime to meet an urgent project. I was fine with it either way. After all, home is just me alone. Anywhere's the same. 9 p.m. The project finally wrapped. Everyone sighed and packed up, getting ready to head home. Victoria was no exception, of course. Once again, she timed it perfectly, standing by my desk. Jason, that was tough. Let's go. I nodded, grabbed my jacket and headed with her to the parking lot. Just as I unlocked the car door, she suddenly tugged me back. Hold on, Jason. I forgot something upstairs. Wait for me a sec. I'll grab it and be right down. I watched her dash off, let out a sigh. Swallowing my frustration, I leaned against the car, pulled out my phone to scroll gym videos, thinking she'd be down in 10 minutes. 15 at most. But 10 minutes passed, 20 minutes, then half an hour. Still no sign of her. I called her once. No answer. The irritation inside me flared up suddenly. I'm not without a temper. I just can't be bothered to argue with people. But my patience doesn't mean others can lead me by the nose. I hung up right away. Started the engine. Floored it decisively out of the parking lot. Whatever she wants. She can get home, however. It's got nothing to do with me anymore. Back home, after showering and lying in bed, that's when I saw dozens of WeChat messages from Victoria. Each one more aggressive than the last. Jason, where are you? I'm down. Why aren't you here? How could you leave me alone at the office? That's way out of line. I'm telling you, if anything happens to me today, I won't let you off. I didn't bother replying to a single one. Straight up blocked her. But the next morning, I unblocked her. I knew one thing, clearly. As long as I kept driving to work, this mess would drag on forever. Sooner or later, she'd find ways to cause more trouble. On Monday, I didn't drive anymore. I hopped on the old iron horse. Bought for 200 yuan from a soon-to-graduate student. Leisurely pedaled to the office. This bike, besides the silent bell, creaks everywhere else. But it made me feel incredibly free. Catching the fresh morning breezes, my heart felt utterly refreshed. This is the life I've always dreamed of. Screw the ways of the world and social niceties. Screw the colleague relationships too. No one's gonna shatter my lying flat life. When I wheeled that old man's bike into the company lobby, the whole hall fell dead silent in an instant. The receptionist about to sip her coffee froze, seeing me and that warhorse. Her hand shook, spilling hot coffee all over her crisp white shirt. She didn't even bother wiping it. Mouth gaping in an O, eyes full of shock and bewilderment. As if doubting her own eyesight, I casually nodded hello to her, wheeled the bike straight into the elevator. While waiting for the elevator, probing stares shot from all directions. Felt like pinpricks, a bit uncomfortable, but mostly relief at finally being free. Stepping into the office, the effect was even more explosive. Just seconds before, the space buzzed with keyboard clacks, lively chatter. But the moment I wheeled in the bike, all sounds hit the mute button. Everyone stopped what they were doing, staring at me like I was an alien. Those expressions were incredibly varied. I ignored all the stares, parked the bike in the corner, went to my seat, and booted up the computer. A stifled laugh shattered the silence. It was Victoria, arms crossed, clicking her heels clack-clack up to me, looking down on me, eyes full of contempt and mockery. Jason Hale, what's the meaning of this? Gone bankrupt? Her voice wasn't loud, but, in the quiet office, every word rang clear in everyone's ears. Out of gas money, huh? This bike must be 20 years old, at least. Dug it out of some junkyard. She smacked her lips, with a sneer, her disdainful tone not even trying to hide. Around us, a few malicious chuckles echoed. I lazily glanced up at her, responding to the national call for green living and energy saving. Victoria rolled her eyes dramatically, her voice pitching high. What a load of crap. If you're poor, just say you're poor. All these excuses. Can't afford a car, just admit it. Acting like anyone cares about riding in your junker anyway. I'm telling you, Jason Hale. From now on, don't say you know me. Being colleagues with a broke loser like you is humiliating. She finished and sashayed back to her seat. The office started buzzing with whispers. I told you so. A guy riding an ancient bike. What future does he have? Victoria's something else. Used to call him Jason all sweetly. Now flips faster than flipping a crepe. This isn't flipping. It's seeing reality. Who want to tangle with a guy who can't even maintain a car? I put on my headphones, blocking out the gossip. Looking at the Launch Technologies logo on the screen, I couldn't help but chuckle inwardly. This company, even the whole building, is all my family's property. That manager Zhang Victoria just mentioned, last month at my dad's birthday party, was toasting me, buttering up with wishes for my career success. Now look, his employee dares call me a broke loser just for biking. This life is getting more interesting by the day. Not only am I not mad, but this lying flat life suddenly has some unexpected fun. Those days biking to work were way more comfortable than I imagined. No more enduring rush hour jams, no headache over parking spots, and no dealing with Victoria's fake face. Now when she sees me in the office, it's like spotting something filthy. She dodges paths entirely, which suits me perfectly. My biking route changed too. No more main roads for speed. Instead, a shady little street through the old quarter, lined with tall sycamores on both sides, sun filtering through leaves onto the pavement, creating dappled light patches. The air scented with fresh grass and damp earth, putting me in an incredibly good mood. It was on this road that I discovered a true gem of a bakery. It was a cute little pastry shop, the storefront in soft, milky white tones, windowsills overflowing with blooming flower clusters. The shop was called Sophia's, sounding quite elegant. I stopped the bike and for some reason stepped inside. The shop was very quiet. Just one girl in a white chef's uniform, back turned to me, busily working behind the counter. Her figure slender, long hair neatly tied at the nape with a simple ribbon, revealing a pale, graceful neck. The air wafted with sweet cream and baked goods aromas. Someone like me, never big on sweets, suddenly felt an inexplicable craving. "Welcome." The girl turned around. Seeing me, she gave a gentle smile. In that instant, everything lit up before my eyes, as if the whole little shop burst with light. She was truly beautiful, but not the kind slathered with thick makeup like Victoria. It was a pure, gentle beauty radiating from deep within, making you feel utterly at ease. Her eyes clear as spring water. When she smiled, cute little dimples appeared on her cheeks, looking incredibly adorable. "What would you like, sir?" Her voice was so pleasant, melodious, like a stream bubbling in the mountains. I looked at the display case full of exquisite pastries, suddenly hit with choice paralysis. Normally used to gourmet feasts, I'd never really paid attention to these. What's your specialty here?" I asked a bit awkwardly. "First time at the shop, sir." She smiled and asked, eyes with a touch of curiosity. "Then I'd recommend trying the first snow. It's our signature, loved by so many customers." "Sure, I'll take that." I picked a seat by the window. Soon after, she brought over a small white plate. On it, a dainty mouse cake, pure white like snow, topped with fresh blueberries, like berries sprouting in a snowy field, incredibly eye-catching, melodious like a stream bubbling in the mountains. I looked at the display case full of exquisite pastries, suddenly hit with choice syndrome. Normally used to gourmet feasts, I'd really never encountered these before. "Hey, what's the best thing here?" I asked a bit awkwardly. "First time here." She smiled and asked, eyes with a touch of curiosity. "Then I'd recommend trying the first snow. This is our shop's specialty, loved by so many customers." "Sure, I'll take that." I picked a seat by the window. Soon after, she brought over a small white plate. On it, a dainty mouse cake, pure white, topped with fresh blueberries, like berries sprouting in a snowy field, incredibly eye-catching. "Enjoy, sir." I picked up the small spoon and scooped a bite into my mouth. A cool sensation, smooth and silky, blending with light milk flavor and fresh lemon zest, melting instantly on the tongue. Sweet, but not cloying, dissolving quickly. So delicious, I couldn't help squinting. A guy like me, never into sweets, was stunned by a little cake. I looked up, seeing that girl named Sophia Shaw standing behind the counter. focused on decorating a new cake, afternoon sun streaming through the window onto her, like a soft halo enveloping her. That serene time, stands still vibe, made admiration well up unavoidably. I suddenly realized, biking to work was my best decision this year. From that day on, Sophia's Bakery became my regular stop after work. I'd pedal my old Phoenix bike, leisurely, to the shop, order the new cake of the day, sit by the window, savoring the flavors, while watching Sophia's busy silhouette. That scene made me more content than any fancy feast. She seemed to get used to my presence too. Every day when I pushed the door in, she'd give me a warm smile. The usual "Today, sir? No, let's try summer breeze today." We kept it up like that. Short, intuitive chats. No unnecessary politeness. Yet it felt strangely comfortable. Through our talks, I learned she opened this shop all by herself. From researching new items to making and selling, she handles it all, running the whole little shop solo. Aren't you tired? Watching her busy, I couldn't help asking, doing what you love, how could it be tiring? She wiped the table with a smile. Plus, seeing customers' happy faces eating my cakes fills me with such pride. As she said that, her eyes sparkled. It was the glow of passion, boundless, for life and dreams. That glow I'd only seen in my own eyes years ago, when first taking over the family business with big ambitions. Later, it got worn down by stacks of books, pressures, and social banquets. And you seem to show up right on time every day. She finished cleaning and sat across from me, half joking, half serious. Because your cakes are delicious, I said sincerely. Just for the cakes. She tilted her head, blinking at me, a flicker of anticipation in her eyes. My heart skipped a beat, looking into those clear eyes. And her adorable dimples, I blurted out impulsively. Also because the baker looks quite appetizing too. I regretted it instantly. Me, decisive, in business. How could I say something so flirty? Sophia Shaw's face flushed red right away, like a ripe apple. She bowed her head, mumbling softly, "Smooth talker," then darted to the counter, even her ears red as if about to bleed. Watching her flushed ears, I couldn't help chuckling. Turns out lying flat life beyond good food and fine wine can bring such adorable sights. My relationship with Sophia Shaw took a big leap after an unexpected incident. That day the shop got a new batch of baking supplies. Several big sacks of flour and sugar, each around 25 kilos. The delivery guy dumped them at the door and left. Sophia, being a girl, couldn't lift them at all. When I arrived, I saw her mustering all her strength, trying to drag a sack of flour inside. She slipped, about to tumble down. My heart clenched. I shot over like an arrow, from behind, grabbing her waist tight. Her body, so soft, separated by thin fabric. I could feel distinctly her slim waist and the warmth from her skin. My heartbeat went haywire. "Careful," I steadied her, voice a bit husky. "Thanks." And now, she hadn't recovered. Cheeks pink, eyes full of fluster. "Let me handle it." I let go, went to the door, bent down, hoisted the 25-kilo flour sack, one-handed, easily carried it to storage. Then, the second, third, in under 2 minutes. The supplies at the door were neatly stacked in storage. Years of gym work weren't wasted. 8-pack abs, core muscles aren't for show. This weight to me is no different from carrying a briefcase. I dusted my hands, stepped out of storage, looked up and caught Sophia's eyes full of amazement and admiration. You're so strong," she stammered, eyes unable to hide the awe. I got impulsive, lifted my t-shirt hem to wipe forehead sweat, the ab lines from years of training, faintly visible under the fabric. Sophia's eyes glazed over instantly, face even redder. gaze averting, not daring to look. I train regularly. I awkwardly dropped the shirt, hiding a bit of secret pride. Awesome. You're my hero now, she praised sincerely, eyes shining bright. To thank me, that day, she insisted on treating me to dinner. She closed the shop, shed the chef outfit, changed into a white sundress. Without the protective apron, I realized how stunning her figure was. Slender and graceful, curves alluring. We went to a tasteful family restaurant. Over dinner, I learned she's an only child, pampered like a precious egg since young, total daddy's girl. But she didn't like the path her family set, insisted on opening her own bakery, to chase her dream. My parents opposed at first, but later couldn't sway me, so they gave in. She laughed, eyes full of joy. Now though, they're my most loyal customers, stopping by several times a week to support. Seeing her radiant smile, I secretly admired her. Both from affluent families, she lives so authentically and happily, while I had to escape, to trade for moments of peace. And you, what does your family do? She asked curiously, eyes pure curiosity. Ordinary family, ordinary office worker. I lied. I didn't want my prestigious background to shatter this pure goodness between us. In front of her, I just wanted to be plain Jason Hale, not the Prince of Vista Corporation. She, Ed, once, asked no more, just quietly placed in my bowl a piece of my favorite braised pork. Eat up. You worked hard today. Looking at the glossy braised pork in the bowl, my heart felt unusually warm. All grown up. Besides family, no one had thoughtfully served me food like this. Worried if I was tired. In that moment, a strong thought hit me. I want to protect her purity well, and I want her too. From the flour sack incident on, between me and Sophia Shaw, there was an indescribable ambiguity. She'd specially saved for me a piece of my favorite first snow cake. Sometimes, even sneak me a warm glass of milk. I'd help her clean up. When she's busy, double as temporary cashier. Even when she experiments new recipes, I'd volunteer as her guinea pig. Whether success tasty or failed dark disaster, I'd enthusiastically try. Neighbors and regulars around started teasing us. Every time someone asked, Sophia dear, is this your boyfriend? This young man looks sharp. Sophia Shaw would blush, glare at me reproachfully, then softly explain, no sir, just friends, while I just smiled, neither confirming nor denying. I enjoyed this misunderstood feeling, enjoyed the magical atmosphere between us. One day, I was helping her fix the shorted oven. She squatted nearby, chin in hand, eyes glued to my hands. Jason Hale, your hands are really nice, she blurted, voice unusually soft. My hands are bony, fingers long, from regular gym, so veins faintly show on the back. My wiring fix motion paused. A bit shyly replied, really yeah? She nodded. Then, extended her slender finger, cautiously poked my hand back. Like testing something. What does touching your abs feel like? She asked again, voice tiny like a mosquito, but cheeks red as if about to bleed. I turned abruptly to look at her. She jumped from my gaze, like a scared little rabbit, eyes dodging, not daring to meet mine, face instantly crimson. Seeing her shy but flirty act, my heart itched indescribably. I set down the tools, wiped my hands clean, then grabbed her hand before she could pull back, pressed it straight to my stomach, through the thin t-shirt. She could feel clearly the firm lines and scorching heat from my abs. Her hand stiffened, whole body froze too, eyes wide round in shock. I leaned close to her ear, in a low tone only we could hear, whispered, this is the feeling. Touch as long as you want. Exclusive rights, Just for you. As I finished, her face flushed red as if about to bleed. She frantically pulled back, jumped up from the ground, stammered, I'll check my cakes, then turned and fled, even her ears fully red. I watched her fleeing in panic silhouette, glanced at my still calm heartbeat, and somewhere starting to not calm, couldn't help a soft chuckle. This little rabbit is too cute. Cute enough to make even a lying flat guy like me want to take the initiative. Between you, just missing an excuse to poke through that window paper. And that excuse came quickly. Recently, the company took on a big project, partnering with a French luxury brand. The whole company on high alert. Busy as hell. Victoria, as ops core, naturally swamped off her feet. But no matter how busy, she didn't forget bragging to colleagues in the break room. Oh, come on. This bag, I had to get someone to buy from France. It was a hassle to snag the latest model. Cost me 3 months' salary. She held the new handbag, showing off smugly. Wow, Victoria, you really splurge. A colleague chimed in. No big deal. Women have to treat themselves. Unlike some who can't even afford a car. Living, such a failure. She shot me a sideways glance full of implication, tone dripping with scorn. I was getting water. Couldn't be bothered with her. Arguing with her type is just a waste of time. Oh, right, I heard. This time our French partner is called HL or something. Super fancy. If I catch the eye of the director over there and jump ship, that'd be like ascending to the heavens in one step. Another colleague said with a face full of longing. My motion of getting water froze. Wadi. Isn't that the brand my family just fully acquired last year? To commemorate my parents' love, he specially took the first letters from my dad's name Henry Hale and my mom's Luna Hale. This was done very discreetly, except for the top executives in the corporation. No one outside knows that HL has been bought out by Vista Corporation. Jason, what are you spacing out for? The water's overflowing. Victoria Wade's irritated voice cut into my thoughts. I turned off the faucet, cup in hand, face expressionless, as I stepped past her. She glanced at the cup, with Sophia's bakery logo on it in my hand. Sneered once. Oh, please. Sophia's bakery again. What's so great about a rundown pastry shop anyway? Jason, I advise you to be realistic. Find yourself some rich girlfriend to save you 20 years of struggle. Otherwise, a guy like you will be stuck like this forever. I stopped, turned back to glance at her, eyes ice cold. My business is none of your concern. I'm just looking out for you. She put on this act, like regretting iron not becoming steel. Look at you now. No car, no house. What woman would sincerely follow you? Maybe just some naive kids who've never seen the world. Her words like a thorn stabbed straight into my heart, making me extremely uncomfortable. Sophia Shaw, in my heart, is the most beautiful presence in this world, allowing no one to tarnish it. I didn't bother replying, turned and walked away. Saying one more word to her type would just waste my life. Back at my seat, I pulled out my phone to message my special agent, that is, the nominal CEO of Vista, Charles Thorne. A text. Uncle Charles, help me check. Who's in charge of the collaboration project between Launch and AHL? In less than a minute, Charles Thorne's reply came. Young master, this project is handled by Claire Grayson of Grayson Group. She's the main person in charge for AL's Asia-Pacific region. Claire Grayson. Seeing this name, I rubbed my throbbing temples. Truly, a lingering ghost. Claire Grayson, heiress of Grayson Group, is also my former fiancé I've never met. Our two families are old allies. My grandfather and hers went through life and death together back then, so they arranged a betrothal for us. I've always despised this. What era is this to still do childhood engagements and marriage pacts. After I returned from abroad, my dad mentioned several times about me meeting her. To cultivate feelings, I couldn't avoid it. So I decisively moved out, starting my auspicious lying flat life. Didn't expect dodging left and right, still couldn't escape. Heard this Claire Grayson is a true workaholic. Famous ice beauty in business circles. So young, yet already vice president of Grayson Group. Later assigned to handle AL's business. Truly, a ruthless character. I was lost in thought. When the office door was pushed open, the department manager entered with an extremely grave face. Everyone pause what you're doing. Just got the notice. The Asia Pacific head of HL, Miss Grayson, is coming to our company to inspect project progress. All of you, get your act together. Anyone who messes up, don't blame me for being ruthless. The office suddenly buzzed with activity. Female colleagues frantically touched up makeup. Male colleagues busily straightened clothes. Everyone wanting to make a good impression on this big shot. Victoria was even more over the top, pulling out a whole set of cosmetics from her Chanel bag. Starting to do her eyes and brows right there. Oh my God, Miss Grayson is my idol. So beautiful and capable. If I could be half as good as her, that'd be amazing. Heard she's still single. Total white rich beauty. Who do you think she'll notice in our company? I kept my headphones on, continuing to review my code. To me, all this commotion meant nothing. Claire Grayson was just a stranger, with zero connection to me. About 10 minutes later, a stir came from outside the office door. I knew she had arrived, but I didn't even bother lifting my head. The click of high heels on the floor, clack, clack, from far to near. Finally, stopping right by my desk, a cool perfume scent hit my nose, carrying a distant, do not approach vibe. Manager Trent, is this your team's work environment? Way too lax. A cold female voice, with a hint of arrogance, rang out. It was Claire Grayson. Miss Grayson is right, we'll rectify immediately. Manager Trent's voice full of flattery and tension. And who's this one with headphones, listening to music during work hours? Is this Launch Technologies' work attitude? Claire Grayson's spear pointed straight at me. I could feel the whole office's eyes focusing on me. I leisurely removed my headphones, looked up, and then I saw Claire Grayson. She wore a black skirt suit, tailored perfectly, long hair neatly bun up at the nape, exquisite makeup, sharp eyes, her whole being radiating a strong aura strangers keep away. Truly, a beauty, and an ice beauty, at that. When she got a clear look at my face, on that unchanging icy face for 1,000 years, a crack appeared for the first time. Her pupils contracted, eyes full of shock. Claire Grayson's surprise lasted less than a second. She quickly restored her icy cold expression. Just that deep in her eyes added some complex emotions I couldn't fathom. "What's your name?" she asked me, voice still cool as ever. But if you listened closely, you could detect a faint tremble. "Jason Hale," I replied flatly, tone calm, without a ripple. "Jason Hale?" She savored the name, eyes flashing once. "Why are you working here?" I lowered my eyes. Couldn't be bothered explaining much to her. My answer left her speechless. Manager Trent behind her hurriedly leaned forward, face panicked, as he explained. "This is our department's new product specialist. A bit slow on the uptake. Please don't mind him." After saying that, he glared daggers at me, lowered his voice to warn, "Jason, hurry and apologize to Miss Grayson." I ignored him. I looked at Claire Grayson, smirked. "Miss Grayson, if there's nothing else, I'll get back to work. After all, can't delay the project progress of your company, right?" I deliberately emphasized your company, to see how she'd react. Claire Grayson's face went pale in a flash. She stared at me for a long while, said nothing, turned, and strode straight into the meeting room. A phony, drawn-out meeting began. Claire Grayson sat at the head, presence commanding, criticizing our department's plan as utterly disorganized. You dare bring this trash for me to see? Have your brains been slammed indoors? Is this all Launch Technologies has? The whole meeting room dead silent. Everyone scolded by her to the point of not daring to look up. Only I leaned back in my chair, dozing off. Those so-called trade secrets, or project difficulties, in my eyes, were no different from kids' games, utterly naive. Just one phone call from me. The top team at Vista Corporation, in 10 minutes, could produce 100 plans far superior to this, but I couldn't do that. I just wanted to lie flat. The meeting halfway through, my phone buzzed once. It was a message from Sophia Shaw. Today I made your favorite tiramisu. Saved a piece for you. Remember to stop by after work. Seeing that cute emoji, my mouth curved up involuntarily. All annoyance and impatience vanished instantly. Okay, I replied with just one word. This smile of mine, unfortunately, caught by Claire Grayson. Her face darkened immediately. Jason Hale, she called my name directly. What are you smiling about? You find what I just said ridiculous. Everyone's eyes turned to me again. Victoria looked at me with a triumphant, gossipy face, waiting to see how Claire Grayson would handle me. I put away my phone, lazily, stood up. No, I just recalled some fun stuff. Fun stuff. Claire Grayson sneered. The company project is in dire straits, and you still have mood for fun thoughts. Seems you don't care about this job at all. I recommend firing immediately such an employee with no team pride and lacks work attitude. Victoria jumped in first to agree. Miss Grayson is so right. Jason usually slacks off at the company, clocking in casually, and too poor to maintain a car. Biking a junk bike to work, seriously damaging our company's image. This type should have been fired long ago. Manager Trent hurriedly nodded and bowed. Yes, yes, yes. Miss Grayson is absolutely right. I'll process his termination right away. I looked at the clowns performing before me, finding it both ridiculous and boring. Just then, the meeting room door suddenly pushed open from outside. The one entering was Uncle Charles, the CEO of Vista Corporation, my dad's most trusted left hand, also the elder who watched me grow up. Today he wore a custom-tailored suit, impeccably pressed, hair combed neatly. Though over 50, still sharp as ever, aura so strong, no one dared look directly. As soon as he appeared, the air in the meeting room seemed to freeze. The flattery on Manager Trent's face turned to horror. Chairman Charles. Why are you here? Uncle Charles's status in the corporation even inspired more fear than my dad. One word from him could decide the fate of a small company like Launch Technologies. Claire Grayson was stunned, too, clearly not expecting to meet Uncle Charles here. She quickly stood, adjusted her attire, forced a proper smile on her face. Uncle Charles, long time no see. Why are you here? Her way of addressing made everyone in the office gasp. To call Chairman Charles Uncle Charles. Miss Grayson's background is truly deep. Victoria's eyes on Claire Grayson added more worship and fervor. But Uncle Charles just glanced faintly at Claire Grayson, not even a greeting. His sharp eyes swept the meeting room once. Then, amid everyone's shock, confusion, and full terror, he walked straight to me. He stopped before me, then did an action that made everyone, as if their eyeballs would pop out. He bowed respectfully to me. Young master, why are you here? In his voice carried a clear thread of worry and concern. If you want to experience life, just tell me, why come to this tiny place to suffer grievances? If the old man finds out, he'll skin me alive for sure. The meeting room, silent as the grave, even a pin drop audible. Everyone turned to stone. Manager Trent's mouth gaped wide enough for an egg, sweat pouring down his forehead. The triumph on Victoria's face froze instantly, then, bit by bit, replaced by horror and disbelief. Face, pale as paper, and Claire Grayson, her unchanging ice beauty face for 1,000 years, finally, cracked completely. She stared wide-eyed at me, then at Uncle Charles being respectful to me, eyes full of utmost shock and daze, as if the worldview she'd built painstakingly over 20 years just crumbled right then. Seeing their rich expressions, I sighed inwardly. That's it, my lying flat life officially ends today. I rubbed my aching temples, a bit helplessly said to Uncle Charles, "Uncle Charles, why did you come here?" "Young master, if I didn't come, you'd be bullied to death by these blind fools." Uncle Charles's face, full of heartache, then suddenly spun around, cold eyes sweeping Manager Trent and Victoria. "It's you who want to fire our young master." His voice not loud, but like a cold blade, scraping each person's heart. Manager Trent thud one says. Legs went weak, collapsed, sitting on the floor. He stammered excuses. "It's Chairman Charles. I didn't know. I really didn't know he's the young master." Cold sweat soaked his shirt through. Victoria, even more terrified, whole body shaking, lips trembling, unable to utter a word, her eyes on me full of fear and despair, probably even racking her brain. She couldn't understand why the broke loser she always despised and insulted could suddenly become the Prince of Vista Corporation she dreamed of. "Didn't know," Uncle Charles sneered. "Not knowing gives you right to casually humiliate, bully, an ordinary employee. Is this how Launch Technologies manages?" I was wrong. Chairman Charles, I really know I was wrong." Manager Trent nearly knelt begging for mercy. I was too lazy to watch their pathetic states. Grabbed the phone on the table, went to a corner to call my dad. "You little brat, you still know to call me. If you don't show up soon, I'll report you missing to the police." From the other end came my dad's powerful roar. "I'm fine, handling a small matter at launch," I said calmly. "Small matter?" Uncle Charles told me everything you got pointed at and called a broke loser, and even fired. Chaos, total chaos. My Henry Hale's son, suffering this grievance. My dad's anger flared higher. All right. Stop yelling." I picked my ear. "What's with the AL collaboration project? Isn't it that Grayson girl insisted on taking this project as homework? But high ambitions, low skills, messed everything up into a tangle. I was about to send Uncle Charles to clean up the mess. Didn't expect you to be there." "Got it." I hung up, walked to Claire Grayson. She still stood dazed in place, face pallid, eyes vacant. "The AL project, you don't need to handle anymore," I said in a tone allowing no argument. "From now on, I'll take over." Then, in front of everyone, I called directly to AL headquarters in France. I used fluent French, pointed out several fatal errors in the project plan, and gave specific solutions. Whole process under 5 minutes. On the other end, AL's global CEO, extremely respectful to me. Yes, sir. Attitude, humble beyond imagination. Hung up. I tossed the phone on the table, looked at the gaping, shocked crowd. Any issues now? No one dared utter a peep. The meeting room silent as a sheet. I stepped to Victoria. She backed away in fear, eyes full of pleading. "Didn't you say my life would only amount to this?" I looked at her, eyes frigid. "Now I'm informing you. From tomorrow you don't need to come to work. And furthermore," I paused, voice without warmth, "this whole Southtown, all companies doing business with Vista, none will hire you. Go ahead and try." Victoria's eyes instantly lost all light. Whole body, like soul drained, collapsed to the ground. This to her was worse than death. The fame, fortune, future she valued most, destroyed completely by one sentence from me. Finally, my eyes stopped on Claire Grayson. As for use, I looked at her, stressing each word. That ridiculous engagement never existed. I'm glad we have no relation. Finished, I didn't glance at her pale face again, grabbed my jacket and strode out of the meeting room. I didn't want to linger here a second more. Just wanted to quickly meet my light and eat the tiramisu I've been craving. When I stepped out of the company building, the streets were starting to light up. I didn't head to the parking lot, but went straight to the old man's bike leaning in the corner. Uncle Charles followed close behind, face full of hesitation. Young master, how about I give you a ride? This bike? No need. I hopped on the bike. I have plans. But the old man, just tell him I'm fine. Don't send people to bother me again, or I'll really go abroad, so he won't find me his whole life. I tossed back a line, then pedaled into the rush hour crowd. Behind, Uncle Charles's helpless sigh, left far in the distance. I pedaled fast, heart feeling an unprecedented lightness. No more pretending, cards on the table, occasionally getting fired up once. Feels pretty good actually. 10 odd minutes later, I stopped in front of Sophia's bakery. The shop still had warm lights on. Through the glass door, I saw Sophia Shaw, sitting behind the counter, chin in hand, eyes toward the door, seeming to wait for someone. My heart suddenly softened unusually. I pushed the door in, the wind chimes tinkling crisply. You're here. Sophia Shaw saw me. Eyes lit up instantly. She jumped from her chair right away, rushed toward me, face blooming a sweet smile. I thought you weren't coming today. Company had sudden stuff, so I'm late. I smiled, explaining, reached to gently ruffle her hair. Punish you to eat this whole tiramisu. She pouted. From the warmer cabinet behind brought out a delicate small plate. On the plate my favorite tiramisu, topped with cocoa powder, sprinkled into a cute smiley face. You could tell she specially prepared it for me. I sat in my usual spot, spooned a big bite into my mouth. The rich, familiar flavor instantly healed all my fatigue and worries. Sophia Shaw sat right across, hands propping chin, eyes curved, smiling at me. Good? Delicious? I replied sincerely. Best in the world. My praise made her a bit shy, cheeks flushing faint pink. Right, earlier you said company stuff. She asked, concerned. Resolved yet? Done. I nodded. Didn't want her worrying, even less to mention those bothersome things. That's great. She sighed in relief. Then, as if remembering something, from under the counter, pulled a exquisitely wrapped gift box. This is for you. What's this? I was a bit surprised. Open it and see. Her eyes full of anticipation. I opened the box. Inside a brand new white shirt. Soft fabric, stitching incredibly fine. You could tell it'd be comfy to wear. I saw last time when you fixed the oven. Your clothes got all dirty. So I took the liberty to buy you one. She explained a bit anxiously, hands unconsciously twisting together. Not sure if you'll like it. If not, I looked at the shirt in hand, then into her eyes, full of expectation, mixed with a bit of unease. My heart like hit by something, a warm flow instantly spreading through my body. All grown up. No one ever noticed my clothes getting dirty. Such a trivial, nor specially prepared a gift for me over it. Only her John, always attentive to my every move. I set down the spoon, stood and went to her. She jumped at my action, instinctively, stepped back. I gave her no chance to retreat, reached and pulled her hard into my arms, hugged tight. Sophia. I called her name, voice trembling from emotion. I like you, not for your cakes, nor your looks, but I like you as a person, like your kindness, like your purity, like your passion for life. Will you be my boyfriend? Wait, my girlfriend. The one in my arms stiffened. It took a long while before I felt two soft arms slowly, cautiously wrap around my waist. Then a tiny voice with a sob sounded by my chest. I do. Sophia Shaw and I are together now. My lying flat life. From one person now two. Double the sweetness and warmth. I didn't move back to the villa that could park a fleet of aircraft carriers, but stayed in my small rented apartment. I didn't change the old man's bike either. Still, pedaled it daily, picking up Sophia Shaw for work and off. Mornings I chauffeured her through the shady road. She sat behind, humming softly, arms tight around my waist, face against my back, both warm and secure. Evenings I helped her close shop, then grocery shop together, home to cook a lavish dinner. Even if sometimes food got burnt, we still ate heartily. We'd curl on the sofa watching an old movie. She'd lean on my shoulder, hand holding a bucket of popcorn. At emotional parts, grab my hand to wipe tears. She'd sneak peeks from the side. Every time I gym, take advantage when I'm not looking to touch my abs. Then smile content. Like a kid who stole candy. I gave her a private nickname, Little Sweet Cake, because she's like the cakes she makes. Sweet, straight to my heart. And she calls me young old man. Since I love researching wellness and brewing wine, living like a retired old geezer. A simple life, but overflowing with sweetness everywhere. Of course, occasionally, some discordant notes, like Claire Grayson seeking me once, right at the bakery door. That day she didn't wear office suit, but casual clothes. Face no longer coldly distant, 1,000 miles, looking much more haggard. Jason Hale, can we talk? Her voice carried a thread of fatigue. I was helping Sophia Shaw change flower pots out front. Heard that. Didn't even lift my head. You and I have nothing to say. I just want to know why. She hesitated. Complex eyes on me. Why abandon a $1 trillion inheritance and insist on being a lowly employee here? Why ignore a business powerhouse woman like me and choose an ordinary bakery girl? I turned around, stabbed right to her core. Claire Grayson, you and I were never in the same world. What you chase is power, status, and superior feeling. What I want is just a peaceful, stable life. Was before, still, is now. I pointed toward. Sophia Shaw focused on baking inside, mouth, unconsciously, smiling gently. She's my peace. So never bother me again. Finished, I turned into the shop and closed the door, completely barring her and that icy world. Outside, through the glass, I saw her rooted at the door a long while, finally left in a daze. From then on, she never appeared again. As for Victoria, later I heard from old company colleagues, gossiping. After firing, she wouldn't accept it. Spread resumes to all big companies in Southtown. Result, all rejected. Only then she realized my earlier words weren't a joke. One sentence from Vista's Prince. Enough to fully blacklist an ordinary person, making them unable to rise in this city. Heard later, she slunk back to her hometown, living a less than ideal life. But all that no longer concerns me. My world is just sunshine, pastries, and my beloved little sweet cake. One day, Sophia Shaw suddenly mysteriously said to me, "Young old man, let me show you this." She pulled out her phone, opened a photo album. In it, an old yellowed photo. In the photo, two kids around 7 or 8, boy in little suit, face extremely cool, badass, girl in princess dress, holding a melting ice cream cone, crying her eyes out, and that boy, though face a bit impatient, still reached out, awkwardly wiping her tears. I looked at the familiar boy in the photo, Stunned. Do you remember 20 years ago? You went with Dad to a partner's birthday party. There was a little girl who dropped her ice cream and cried nonstop. You gave her your share. Sophia Shaw smiled at me, her eyes sparkling, like holding all the stars. My memories instantly rewound to distant childhood. Seems there was something like that. That little girl was me. Sophia Shaw pointed at herself, grinning smug like a cat who got the cream. So it's not you meeting me first, but me waiting for you all 20 years. I looked at her, heart surging with waves. Turns out all encounters aren't coincidence, but a destined reunion after long separation. I couldn't hold back anymore. Arms pulled her in, bent down passionately kissing those lips. Her lips, so soft, sweet, and faintly creamy. Intoxicating. Outside the window, sunshine beautiful, wind blowing gently. My lying flat life seems not flat at all, but overflowing with unexpected sweetness and surprises. This feeling is amazing.